Hey folks, we're going to do some more on the Tattoo Handbook app today. So let me show you where we got to here on our last stream, and then we'll jump right into it. So in our last stream, we basically made it so that every time you go to your app, when you click on one of these blog post views, it prints out the URL of that blog post, and you can see that happening in my console right now. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to make it so you can actually visit those from the app. Now, in our mockups, which I will show you here, the way that it shows that this is supposed to happen is this little screen is supposed to come up from the bottom and show it, and then you have a done button to dismiss it. So let me show you that. Here, if we do that, so it comes up and then it goes back down. Now this thing right here, it doesn't come standard. So what we're going to do today is we're going to aim to get this to come up and have it animate back down and up and down like that. So the way that we've done views so far on this app is that we have done them through the interface builder. This time, I'm going to show you a different way, and instead we're going to build some views programmatically. So let's get started. Let me go into Xcode. All right, so what we have here is our home view controller, which is the one that handles that home view. So what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to make a web page show up in our application itself. Now there are a couple ways you can go to web pages in iOS. One of them is to shell out to Safari, which we absolutely could do. But the way that the app is designed, it looks like they want it to be an in-app experience, and for that we're going to need to use WebKit. So let me show you what that would look like. We're going to import WebKit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a web view. So var WebView, WK WebView. Now we're going to need to also implement the WebView protocol. So WK navigation delegate, that's the one. So we've got our WK WebView, and then we are also going to need why is it so upset? Oh, because I put a colon here, not a comma. Okay, so we got our web view, and now what we're going to do is we're going to come down to Viewdidload, and we're going to initialize that. So this is how that's going to look. Self.WebView equals web, WK WebView. And we're going to say self.WebView.nav, self.nav. I have to look exactly at, there's a blog post that talks about how to do this. So let me pull that up. It has WebKit. Now I don't agree with everything in here because it says to put stuff in the load view, which you absolutely should never do unless there's a very specific circumstance, because messing with load view is a really great way to make sure that the instantiation process, your normal view instantiation process, doesn't work the way it should, because this is the method that iOS uses to do that. Load view is not really for you to stick code in. Viewdidload is for you to stick code in. Anyway, diatribe over. So we have our web view, and then we need to give it a navigation delegate. That's what I want. WebView, self.WebView.navigation delegate equals self, because now we conform to this protocol, WK navigation delegate. Sweet. All right, so then we did that. This is how we load stuff into a web view. So let's borrow that, and we're going to stick that into our method that we use for go to blog post. So URL is going to be the string, this string. Get rid of that. And then we're going to load up from that URL. That looks great. Now, we're going to have to make that web view appear on screen somehow. So here's how we're going to do that. You'll notice that in this here, so when you click on one of these, there's like this piece at the top, and then it gets into the web view portion. So we're going to make all of that programmatically now. So here's how that's going to look. We're going to do var slide up drawer view. It's going to be UIView. We haven't initialized that yet. All right, so here we go. Now it's time to do that. Self.slideUp drawer view equals UIView with a frame. And we're going to give it a frame. Now we're going to explicitly put a frame on this thing, and that's going to consist of X. We're going to set to 0, put it all the way on the left. Y. Now 0 here would put it all the way at the top. I want it to come down below this, like, the notch and the time and all that stuff. So I'm actually going to have it come down a little bit below that. Let's do 40 and see how that looks. And then my width is going to be self.view.frame.width. And then my height is going to be self.view.frame.height. We indent all these. There we go. All right, so now it's got a frame that it's going to fill. And actually what I want to do is I want to put it below my view. I don't want it to be visible at first. So I'm actually going to initialize this thing like down below the bottom of the screen. Self.slideUp drawer view, this is where it's going to be. Let's do, and then let's add it like this, self.view.add, well, we'll do that at the end. So we have our slide up drawer view, then we have our web view. We're going to do the same thing with the web view. So web view. We're going to make it appear 40. This we're going to make appear 40 down so that we have room for that done button. And then let's do self.slideUp drawer view.add subview web view. Great, now we're going to do the same thing with a button. We're going to assign the frame rather than initializing the whole thing. Yeah. Alright, so now let's make a button. Let's do this is going to be dismiss button is equal to make a UI button. Let's give that a frame too. This one's frame is going to be all the same stuff, except this time I want it to start at the top and the right. And let's set a width right now of 50 and a height of 30, and we'll see how that looks. And then let's say dismiss button dot set text, set title to done. And this is going to be for a normal state. We want it to always appear this way. For legibility's sake, let's also give our slide up drawer view a background color, which we can change later. I love system pink, so we're going to use that. So we've got this button, and now we need to say self.slideUpDrawerView.add subview dismiss button. Alright, so now we need to animate this thing onto screen. And we're going to do We're going to do that in a couple different places. So first we need to animate it onto the screen, and we're going to do that in our go to blog post method. So here we're going to animate, slide up view onto screen. So let's look up real quick how to do UIViewPropertyAnimator example iOS. Now you can do UIView.animate in iOS. That's an older API, and it's got more functionality. If you look up how to animate on Stack Overflow, that's what's going to show up because it's older. There are a couple of reasons to use the object-oriented one. The first one being modularity for testing purposes. But I need to see an example because I don't know off the top of my head exactly how to do it. So this is how you previously did it. Yeah, this is what I want. Alright, so I'm going to steal that with a duration of, that is fast. Let's do ease in. And here we're going to say self.slide up drawer view dot frame, and then we're going to go steal that. Yeah. $40 looks good. One thing I do want to say is that if this one is going to start 40 down, I want to take that 40 off of its height. Okay. So that's going to start our animation. Let's see how that looks. So it appears that it's not happening. I'm fairly confident that this is getting called. Let's pull these onto their own lines and make it a little easier to read. Zero, 40. And let's call this animator slide out drawer animator. It's supposed to ease in, and it's supposed to give our slide up drawer view this frame. Let's see if we can find our slide up drawer view. I don't see it, and come to think of it, I think I know why. I think we didn't add a subview for it. So we added the slide up drawer view subviews for the web view and for the dismiss button, but then what we didn't do is self.view.add subview of our slide up drawer view, which we need to do. Let's try again. So this is great. In the meantime, our done button doesn't do anything yet. So let's fix that. I like the size of this. I want the done button in the center. So what I might do actually is cheat. Put a 10 down and see how that looks. Okay, so now we need to make the dismissing happen. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to say dismiss button dot set target add target. So our target's going to be this view controller. Our action is going to be an action we haven't created yet, but it's going to be called dismiss drawer. And then for UI control event, basically says which gesture you want this to happen for. So we're going to do touch up inside. This is like when you tap on something. Yeah, and so we need to do dismiss drawer. So let's add that down here. Because it's a selector, it needs to be an Objective-C object because that's an Objective-C construct. So we say Objective-C func dismiss drawer. And then here's what we're going to do. Slide. Let's do slide up and slide down. That's going to be clearer, I think, than out and in. Down. And this time it's going to be that amount again. Yeah. Alright, let's give that a try. Cool. And you can scroll on it and everything. 10 with too much. This needs to be like 5. You might want to mess with the text color and stuff too. Because I think in the... Yeah, it's blue there. It doesn't really fit the theme of the... I guess it's not my call. Let's see if what we have available to us on here. Is that a method? Yeah, it looks like this is to read it, not to assign it. Let's try set title color. Let's do that blue. System blue. For normal. Dismiss button set size. Let's try this. Set font size on button programmatically iOS Swift. Set title size. That's Objective-C. Let's look at in the last year specifically. This is not programmatic. Can't be this awful, can it? What is this? Adjust size to fit width. Let's see if it works. Not sure. Let's make that background light gray like it is in the mock-ups. Where did we put that system? Pink. Here. Light gray. That's still too... We might need to make a custom color. Or we could do this with alpha components. See how that looks. It'll light me right up. It's upset. UI color. See if that fixes it. Yes. Oh, I see. It makes the background clear to what's completely underneath, which of course makes sense, so that's not going to work for us. So let's try let's look at the UI color options. Please have a list of the colors. Of course you don't have a list of the colors. Okay. What do we think these different shades of gray are? Wait, I want to see system gray. I want to know, what could this be? How about system gray 2? What is that? I don't want to have to put in custom colors if we don't need to. I'd like it to all be system colors unless we need custom colors. Oh, that's not bad. Let's try 4. Well, it just said a second shade. We didn't know if that was darker or lighter. Now it looks like it might be lighter. I don't hate it. We're getting there. Let's see what it was. So first of all, this is annoying me. So I'm going to make this 5. And then let's do system gray 6. I don't like it that the done button is below halfway down the thing. So we're going to fix that. Not bad, not bad. I mean, I guess we could put a label on it that says Gaelic.co. It seems redundant because we have Gaelic.co right there. I'm not going to do it. Nah. I'm not going to do it. I am going to make this a little bit higher than 40. So this part here, the slide up drawer view, I want this to be, let's say 60 down. And then this is going to be 30 high, and we'll put it 15 down and see how that looks. So that way it should be right in the middle. 15 on either side and 30 in between. 4 15s is 60. I can math. Okay. I think that looks nice. And you can still scroll this? Yeah. So, you know what? I also want the done button to come in a little bit. Let's look at it again. Yeah, if it's going to be 15 down, I think it should be at least 15 over. Let's try that. Now you'll notice I didn't do this test first, and the reason for this is that this is a lot of futzing with views and then an external library, WK WebView. So this doesn't have to do with the collection or munging of data, and it also doesn't have, this is not like a seam where we are interacting with an external source of information the way we're interacting with an external API. So in my experience, you develop this kind of thing by checking it visually, and then once you're done checking it visually, it does not tend to break again. So I'm not as concerned with that for this specific type of thing as I would be with some other stuff. Now, one thing that might potentially be worth testing is making sure that the dismissal is called at the right time, and making sure that dismiss drawer is called at the right time, and making sure go to blog post is called at the right time. That I could potentially see, and we might come back in and do that. But in my experience, testing the way views look and testing animations is more trouble than it's worth in terms of automated tests rather than manual visual tests like what we're doing here. For this kind of thing, in order to prevent regressions, what I would typically do is make a QA list of things for quality assurance to check each time that we deploy, and this would be on it. All right, that looks pretty good. And then when we hit the done button, it goes back down. Woo! Now before we push this, let's make sure our existing tests still run fine. Yay! So let's make a commit here. It should just be the one file that got changed. Git status. Let me get rid of this. It's confusing to have everything on screen. Git commit -m. Visit each blog post from the home screen with a view that animates up and loads the post. A done button at the top of this view animates it back down. What? Let me grab that. Looks like I didn't do git add. Git add. Whoops. Now we do the git commit thing. Not with these. Wow. Alright, we're going to try again. git log1, git status, git commit -m, a done button at the top of the view animates it back down. Git status, git push. All right. There might be a case to be made for adding a little animator to explain that it's loading. Or even to go ahead and load the first one. Yeah, we can think more about that later. In the meantime, I'm happy that this feature is in. All right, I will see you all next time, probably tomorrow.